You ever watch someone mess with the wrong family? That was me. 2 months ago, when our Homeowners Association decided to humiliate my mom over something so petty it made my blood boil. They thought they were untouchable, powerful, above the rules, but they forgot one thing. I know how to dig up dirt, and when I find it, I don't keep quiet. Stick with me, because by the end, the HOA wasn't just apologizing to my mom, they were fighting for their own positions. It all started on a sunny Saturday morning in late spring. My mom, Linda, was out in our front yard carefully trimming the roses she'd planted along the walkway. They were her pride and joy, brilliant red petals glowing in the sunlight, the air filled with that soft floral scent you only get in early summer. But then, it happened. A white SUV rolled up. Out stepped two people in pressed polo shirts with the HOA logo stitched over their hearts. Clipboard in hand, sunglasses on. The enforcers. One of them, a tall, thin woman named Karen, yes, really, walked right up to my mom with that fake polite smile you only see on people who think they're doing you a favor while stabbing you in the back. "Linda," she said in a voice that dripped with condescension, "we need to talk about your yard situation." Mom looked confused. "My yard situation?" Karen flipped through her papers like she was about to read a court sentence. "Yes, we've received a formal complaint that your rose bushes exceed the community's height regulation. They are currently measured at 38 inches. The maximum allowable is 36. This is a violation." I was standing in the doorway listening, and I swear I thought she was joking. But no, she was dead serious. Mom's face fell. She telling me I need to cut down my roses 2 inches? Karen didn't even blink. "Yes, you have 10 days to comply or there will be a fine." Have you ever dealt with an HOA this petty? Drop a yes in the comments if this sounds familiar. Now, you have to understand, my mom's roses weren't just flowers. They were a tribute to my grandmother who had passed away the year before. Every bush was planted in her memory, each one a different shade of red that Grandma loved. So, yeah, I took it personally. When Karen left, Mom looked shaken. She said, "I don't want trouble," she said softly. "Maybe I'll just trim them." But I was already shaking my head. No, this is ridiculous. If they want to fight, they've got one. That night, I pulled out my laptop. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's research. And guess what? HOA board meeting notes are public record. It took me less than an hour to find them. And oh boy, the things I found. Misused funds, questionable maintenance expenses, payments to companies that didn't seem to exist, and most interesting of all, a landscaping budget that was massively overinflated. I dug deeper. Cross-referenced the landscaping company they paid with public business records. Turns out that company was owned by the HOA president's brother-in-law. Bingo. If you just caught where this is going, type "busted" in the comments. I decided to attend the next HOA meeting, not as a quiet observer, but as the storm they never saw coming. When the meeting started, the president, a smug, gray-haired man named Robert, sat at the front, leaning back in his chair like he owned the neighborhood. Karen was next to him, flipping through her paperwork. They opened the floor for comments, and I stood up. "Yeah, I've got a question," I said, holding up a thick folder of printed documents. "Why is the HOA paying $48,000 a year to a landscaping company that doesn't seem to do much landscaping? And why is that company owned by your brother-in-law, Robert?" You could hear a pin drop. Robert stammered, That's irrelevant to this meeting." "Oh, it's very relevant," I cut in, "because while you're busy threatening my mom over 2 inches of roses, you're funneling thousands of dollars of community money into your family's pockets. That's called a conflict of interest. And last I checked, that's a violation of HOA bylaws and possibly the law." The room erupted. Neighbors started whispering, phones came out, people started filming. Would you have called them out like this in public? Yes or no? Robert's face turned red. Karen tried to regain control, saying, "We can discuss this privately." "Nope," I said, holding up the documents. "We're discussing it here, in front of everyone, because this isn't about my mom's roses. This is about you abusing your power." And here's the kicker. I'd already sent everything to the local newspaper that morning. By the next week, the story was everywhere. HOA corruption scandal rocks suburban neighborhoods. The mayor's office even got involved. Robert resigned. Karen stepped down. Translation, got forced out. And my mom, she kept her roses. In fact, the new HOA board made an exception in her case, allowing her bushes to grow as tall as she wanted, and they officially dedicated the garden to my grandmother's memory. I'll never forget the smile on my mom's face that day, or the way Robert avoided eye contact with me when he drove by in his now beat-up SUV. Some fights are worth having. This one? Oh, it was worth every second.